Welcome to this week of Beanie and the Boom Podcast. We have a very, very interesting guest on the show this week. And this guy, man, I think I met when I was probably, 16, maybe 15 years old at an Ohio State camp. Donnie Evege, Donnie Ray Evege.
Slick back Donnie.
What's going on, fellas? Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, man, it's great to have you. Obviously we got a lot to hit on with you. And this is going to be a little bit different, people. This is going to be an episode. Obviously, we're going to hit on sports. That's always, going to be a mainstay. But this is going to divert a little bit. I mean, I want to get into some nooks and crannies of what you have going on, your transition in your life, man. And like I said, I met Donnie when I was 15, 16 years old at Ohio State camp. And, you see this kid out there was freaking ripped up like a Greek god. Then he had this long, slick back ponytail. And, what Donnie did at the camp was Donnie blew everybody away because Donnie, I think he ran like a 4.3, 4, something crazy at the camp. And I remember my brother Joey. Obviously, you remember Joey. You guys had developed a relationship there at the camp. And it was like, damn, that guy's fast.
Hey.
That guy is amazing. And obviously you get a scholarship to Ohio State, and, the rest is history from there. But, Donnie, man, thank you for coming on, man.
Man, thank you for having me. It's a blessing.
Yes, sir.
Boom,
yes,
always
sir.
good seeing you.
Yeah, man,
07 class.
07 class.
Yes, sir.
Donnie, man, you blessed us today. You blessed us with OH2O.
baby.
OH2O.
This is Donnie's beverage company. And, tell us a little bit what you got going on right now, Donnie.
Absolutely. OH2O, which stands for offering hydration to others. That's the deeper meaning, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's top quality water. It's something that I'm proud of. This is something that I give my 6-month-old nephew and his formula. Health is true wealth.
Oh, absolutely.
And when I wanted to create this company, I realized that all water is not the same. And that's one reason why I wanted to do this, because water is life.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up, water is life. And with it not all being the same, and I would say 90% of bottled waters out there are very acidic.
Right.
Very acidic. So I wanted top quality, which is 9.5 pH, which stands for potential hydrogen.
Right.
9.5 pH, alkaline, ionized, electrolyte enhanced water. And the difference between other, alkaline bottles out there, which are, good, is that it's purified.
Mm-hmm.
This is natural spring water from Ohio at the core. At the core. So I stand behind the ingredients. I stand behind the mission. OH2O Nation.
Oh, man.
Friends, families,
That's
teammates.
beautiful right there.
Yeah, this in my mind, this is the official water for the state of Ohio.
Oh, absolutely.
And man, it's been a journey. It's a 6-month-old company, so we're very young. You and I were talking earlier, like you can never do something fully by yourself. Right.
Takes a village.
Friends and family, so I'll never say it's all me, because it's not. But the daily operations, I'm the CEO, founder, and I wear all hats right now.
Right.
Marketing, door to door, knocking.
We see you, brother.
Thank you, man.
We see you grinding, man. I see you all over social media doing your thing, man. So we commend you for all that, man.
Absolutely. And obviously you can find this water. It's in some Walmarts that I've seen. It's in some other stores.
Yes.
Some gas stations.
Absolutely. So right now, the Dayton market's the #1 market. And about 5 Walmarts there. Lancaster, which is, obviously near to Columbus. Lancaster Walmart has it right now.
Okay.
So if you live in the Lancaster area, you can go there, get you, just load up your cart, Westerville Walmart in Columbus, they should have it, I would say, at the end of next week. So what I encourage people to do is please follow me on Instagram, Facebook, at Donnie Ray Evege. OH2O Water is the business page, because so you don't do a wasted trip and go there and it's not there. Like, I'm going to announce when it hits the shelf. But Westerville is coming very soon, and 12 other ones very soon.
You got the water, you got the shirts, you got the hoodies, man. You got everything, man.
Yeah, just represent for OH2O. It's really a movement. And, throughout this time, I realized, man, there's like over 700 million people that go without clean drinking water around the world.
Speaking of that, I seen you did something, because the first thing I think about when I think about water, I think about, is it Flint?
Yep, Flint is in a major crisis. And
I seen you did it.
Detroit. Yeah, shout out to big ups to our Buckeye brother, Torian Washington.
Yeah.
When I launched the company, he congratulated me, wanted to know what he could do, but he also educated me.
Right.
And saying, hey, I'm from Detroit. My sister goes to high school, and the whole Detroit public school system is on a bottled water only basis.
Right.
Their water is so poisonous, just like Flint, they don't even have drinking water in their classrooms or in their school. So we wanted to do our first major American philanthropic outreach, because before I go to Africa later this year and Ecuador, it's like we need to take care of home too. Right. And I may not have all the answers or the number one solution, but I'm going to do what I can with what I have.
Right.
So we donated about 2,000 bottles to Munford High School, the Detroit Public Schools, Torrance, Washington. The biggest rival in all sports, Ohio State, that team up north. But major shout out to Devin Gardner.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, he opened the doors. He got the news media out there, and we did a lot of great things for Detroit. And it's just the beginning.
Yeah,
we're going
back.
That's
where,
That's a beautiful thing, man. Obviously, any time that you can give back and you can help others, and then you got a product that's helping people, I mean, that's always going to be huge. And that's something, under Coach Tressel, we've all learned to pay it forward. And you win with people. And obviously, you got a product that's great and is helping other individuals.
Thank you, man. And that's what it stands for, too, is, in my mind, is offering help to others.
Right.
I'm a big acronym guy. OH2O, right? It's a catchy name. We get it.
I like that.
But the deeper meaning is the hydration to others. It's the help to others. It's the health to others. Mm-hmm. It's all that. All that.
Donnie, man, I want to hit on your time at Ohio State.
Okay.
You were, like we talked about, you came in, you blew everybody away, at the camp. You get a scholarship, and you have a good high school career there. And
Heber Heights, Wayne.
Heber Heights in the Dayton area.
Same school as Braxton.
Yep.
So what was it like, man? What went into your decision? Was it an easy one once you came here and you blew the camp away to say, you know what, I'm going to Ohio State because that's where every kid in Ohio wants to go? Or was it a little bit difficult for you in that process?
It was an easy decision, for sure, to answer your question. But I did look at some other schools just to kind of get that experience as far as, where do I really, really want to go after kind of seeing other options. Mm-hmm. The only other team that really tempted me was Notre Dame, and that's solely because of Tyrone Willingham.
Right.
Mm-hmm. When I think of Tyrone Willingham, I think of Coach Jim Tressel. Mm-hmm. The two guys that are A-list men.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. But at the end of the day, there's no way I wasn't going to come to Ohio State and play for Coach Jim Tressel.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
great decision,
man. That's where we met.
Yeah, I'm saying 07, for sure.
So to answer your question, Beanie, it was an easy decision, man. It was for sure.
I think for a lot of kids in Ohio, I mean, I know this is how it used to be. I mean, if you got a scholarship to Ohio State, that's where you were going. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was the end-all, be-all, man, for a lot of people growing up rooting for the Buckeyes. But man, hit on some of your time here, man. Once you get here, you obviously you're on the football team. You establish great relationships, and I always like talking to individuals about their experience here.
Yeah.
And I know everybody wants to come to Ohio State. Everybody wants to be the man. Everybody anticipates, playing, starting, having this awesome career here. But yours went a little bit different. Obviously, you were recruited highly and had phenomenal athletic ability. But once you got here, talk about your story a little bit. I mean, and how difficult maybe that was once you were at Ohio State to not necessarily be the man that you were in high school, coming to Ohio State.
Absolutely, man. Like a timeline of my career at Ohio State went something like this. I graduate high school a semester early, so in January. I enroll for spring ball. That's, where we first, really became teammates, April. I remember, Boom, you were hitting me up like, man, what's it like there?
Right.
I'm like, man, the game is a lot faster. It's a lot faster. But I do spring ball. My first year, I get redshirted.
Right.
I get redshirted, and halfway through the season of being a scout team player, I have a season-ending injury where I couldn't even practice no more. Man, I tore my PCL, my MCL, and my meniscus in my right knee. Mm-hmm. I went to go block a punt, and long story short, AJ Trapasso, we collided. He kicked my lower knee, and that's how that happened. It was like a freak accident.
Right.
So I missed practice the rest of the year. The next year, I go through 2-a-days. I see the doctors. I got this bad limp, right? I can run, but it's just off. Mm-hmm. And they said, man, you came back too soon. So now, week 2, we're going to play USC is when they tell me, like, the rest of the season, no more football. Like, go and just work on your quad. You got to develop your quad again. So I missed the whole second season, right? So now I'm going into year 3. And that's when
slow down right there. I want to hit on something. I mean, how difficult was that? Obviously, you're going through a rehab process. You come in, and you come in early, one. And most guys that come in early, you're anticipating playing right away. You're red shirt, and then you get injured. I mean, how difficult was that from a mental standpoint to have to, like, damn, man, this ain't going as planned. I got to really, go to my support group, and I got to dig deep a little bit because obviously these are uncharted waters for me.
Right. I had not one, not two, but 3 season-ending injuries.
Exactly.
That kept me out 4 years. Right? So the last one was the most devastating.
Right.
That was the one we can talk about that really, really hurt. The first one, I was a scout team guy, right? So I wasn't on the field playing anyway, so I was able to, be like, I wasn't playing. Let me just do what I got to do to get back healthy. Now, when I missed the second year, I was like, am I ever going to be the same?
Right.
Am I going to be able to still run a 4.2, 4.3? Am I even going to get on the field? Because it seems like it's not happening thus far.
Right.
And, I dealt with it fine at that time because of the family support, of the friendships, the brothers.
I know you got an amazing dad too, man.
Amazing dad. Donnie Evege Sr.
Whole family.
The whole family. So that's what kept me solid. And also just knowing that I chose Ohio State. My dad told me when I committed to Coach Trussell, he's like, son, you got to choose somewhere that if football was taken away from you, right, God forbid, that you would still be happy there. So I made that decision, right? And it seemed like that's the path that I was on. Like football starting to become taken away from me. But what really got tough, Bean, is after that, I play my third year, right? I make a name for myself. I tie a school record with 5 tackles in one game versus New Mexico State. I was a kickoff guy, man, and led the team in tackles that year with 14 tackles on kickoff. That was my role, and I played it. And then the next year, I went into spring ball. I was a starter because a couple guys got hurt. It's looking like I'm definitely going to be in the 2 deep going into the season. Yeah. And then what happens week 3 versus OU? The Posey brothers go against each other. I go to tackle Julian Posey. I missed the tackle, and I go to brace my fall, and I dislocate my elbow. I tear all my ligaments and a tendon. If you look at the back of that book right quick, you can see the brace that I had on. I don't think you were there at that time.
I was gone.
You were gone. So week 3, I'm laying down there in excruciating pain from my head to my toe, right? All my ligaments are done, and I get carted off the field. Now, I was super emotional because it was embarrassing, right? That I just felt defeated because of what happened right then and there. I was at that time the most physical pain of my life, and here we go again. Right. So I get the diagnosis that you're done for the season, right? I came back for bowl practice with that cast brace from my shoulder to my wrist, and then the most devastating injury was going into spring ball, my 5th year, right? So we do this drill, open field tackle. Long story short, I go to jump over a pile because it was a unique drill that we had never done before. But I just jump over the pile, nothing crazy. When I land, I tear my ACL in my left knee. Oh, God. I heard it. It sounds like paper tearing. It's like a pop. It's the noise you never want to hear. And so going into spring, I had to miss the whole entire season coming up.
Yeah, man, that's tough. And I bring this up because we got a lot of listeners from a bunch of different backgrounds, but some of them are high school athletes. And I bring this up, and just people who just pay attention to high school sports, and people oftentimes, they always wonder what happened to guys. And I mean, Donnie was one of the more supreme athletes that I've ever seen in my life.
And I appreciate that.
I mean, they talk about Joey Galloway as being one of the fastest people to ever come through Ohio State. I mean, we sitting next to one of the fastest people to ever come through Ohio State, and people never really got a chance to see that because of the injury.
I appreciate you recognizing that, man, because at the end of the day, I really was.
Right.
I was running the 10-yard dash. Like I heard you and E saying 1, 5, 4. It was 1, 4, 3.
Right.
In the 10, and it was Butch Reynolds. You can ask him 4.24, 4.27.
I seen it.
I mean, and I realized, and what hurt the most is just like with Sean Lane. Big ups to my Buckeye brother. We all were locker mates.
Right.
28, Sean Lane 29. I'm 30. You were right there. And some of the best times in my life. But Sean Lane was an NFL guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Injuries. Obviously stopped that. And for me, to know, I look at Nate Ebner right now. Big up to Nate Ebner, right? Still doing it. That's my guy. we were in similar situations, just special teams guy. And if I would have ran my pro day healthy, it would have been ridiculous.
Exactly. There's no question about it.
But thank you for saying that, though.
No, I mean, and then you look at those situations. You look at the Nate Ebners. Obviously, Nate's a great athlete, two-sport star, has went on to win 3 Super Bowls. But then you look at the stories to where you have guys that have injury has kind of cost them their careers at such an early stage. And, you know, I appreciate you so much, Donnie, because of your journey. Obviously, you're an individual that didn't let what you went through in college from a physical perspective hinder you. And maybe it did hinder you at some point in time, but you were able to kind of move forward and you know, rebuild yourself and change your outlook. I mean, it wasn't any longer just about the sport of football like you talked about. You had a father that encouraged you to make a decision that was going to make you happy with the university that you chose. And I mean, talk about that a little bit. How much easier was it once obviously everything went on with the injuries that, you know what, I'm at Ohio State. I know and understand the supreme opportunity that I have here. And you as an individual, how much more serious did you take that once you started to see, all right, maybe this football thing isn't going to work out because of the injuries?
Well, Ohio State is, in my opinion, the best university in the country for different reasons, mainly also because of the alumni, right? The people that care about Ohio State University. You can go anywhere and yell "Oway" to the airport, and you're going to get 20 IOs,
right?
Period. Yeah. So being more than an athlete and just having the awareness to know that football is going to be 3 to 5 years, whatever sport you play, even if in high school, if your last game is JV, you have to figure out what it is that you want to do more than just that pigskin or that basketball. And for me, I always tell people, man, to stop. STOP. It's a mental technique I use to this day, and it stands for see the opportunities present.
Ooh.
Right? See the opportunities present. Yeah, stop. And you don't have to say a word.
Game right there.
Yeah. And then
I tell that to my kids, man.
And once you
see the opportunities present.
Yeah, page 90 in my book. Have them check it out. And once you see it, that's one thing, right? This podcast, it's beautiful what you guys got going on. It's a major platform that you two get to do. But you saw it, and then you got to seize it. It's one thing to see. A lot of people know what they could do, but are you going to take action and seize it and see the options present, man? So just seeing opportunities, seeing options, and then just, you know, going after it.
Right.
Tomorrow's not promised, man. Tomorrow's not promised. And, like, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want your legacy to be?
That's a great question. I just think about Donnie, man. You know, I look back because obviously we came in together. It's funny. We came in together and we graduated together. Same day. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was crazy. You know, a lot of people used to laugh because you used to have that camera in your hand all the time.
Right.
And it was like, man, Donnie over here filming us again. He filming us again. Now it's like, hey, Donnie, where all them Right. All that footage you had, you know what I'm saying?
Guys like AT and Sabino. Bino's like, man, I used to clown you for always having it. Right. But like, thank you. We want more. Because there was no Instagram and Snapchat then.
No. That's the crazy thing. We ain't have all that crazy social media back in the day. And just imagine if we had it, man. Like, you would have been giving them all type of free footage, man. So, I mean.
I wonder how many hours of footage do you think you have?
Well over 100.
Over 100 hours of footage of what it's like to be inside the locker room, what it's like to be inside the college party.
Oh, well over.
How deep does it get?
Maybe more than that.
Man, he kept that camera.
I kept it with me because, like,
I'm talking about spring games, practice. I mean, I was looking at tunnel talk, everything. I mean, Donnie,
how deep does it get?
As deep as you want to go. As deep as you want to go, you know.
But it's
no, not like that. It's special. It's really special because you get to see from 2007 through 2011, you know, what it was like to be a Division I football player at the biggest college in the world, football-wise.
Right.
The injuries, learning how to walk again, guys getting their first apartment, dorm life, out and about, you know. I started my own. I always had this vision of having like my own thing called Strike the Mic, and it's where we were going to interview each other, you know, player to player back in 2009. Right. I told DeVere Posey about it. He was all in. He was like, "Let's just do it." And again, there was no Instagram. There was no stories. If we would have had this then, it would have just been we were the first to do it.
Right.
And we launched it, but it got cut short just due to some of the things that were going on at that time. We had to take our attention elsewhere. But that behind-the-scenes footage, man, it's there. So what I want to do with it, hold on to it.
Right.
And when the right opportunity comes to, you know, share it with the fellas. But it's something I don't see just giving out to the world without talking to some guys first and maybe coming together.
Don't hold on too long, man.
Don't hold on
Don't
too
hold
long.
on too long.
Well, let's get to work.
Man, absolutely. No question about it.
We can do like a documentary.
Honestly, Donna, my question was like, with all the adversity that you went through, you walk around with this camera. Like, what made you like want to like do that? Like,
I was down and out. I was really down and out after probably the second injury.
Mm-hmm.
And I was recording even our freshman year. I just loved.
I remember, yeah.
So let me backtrack. Even in high school, I was always kind of an extrovert, a people's person, but I like being by myself.
Right.
Like I think we all do. I love to journal. Right. I love documenting my thoughts.
That's something that Tress was amazing at.
Right.
Quiet time.
Oh, man.
Beautiful.
Right. So I would always journal my life. I would have my little handy cam camera, put it on my dresser in high school, and just do a diary. Right, just a video diary, and I continued to do that in college. So that's why I always had the camera with me, which is a habit, and that's what I did. But after the second injury, I picked it up more because I was feeling down and out. Man, my mom was at my house with me, living, just taking care of me because I needed help, and she just smacked me out of that depression I was in at that time. Yeah. She was like, "Vision board time. We got a vision board of everything I wanted to do." A lot of people don't know this, man. I was heavy into the stock market too.
I do remember that.
Yeah, me, Nate Ebner, Spencer Smith, Curtis Terry. Who else was in it?
Was Sean Lane in it as well at the time?
Sean Lane would.
It was a bunch of, but Donnie.
We was trading penny stocks, and
this is in college at the time.
Yeah.
I remember him. Obviously, we talked about my locker was right next to yours, so I remember, Dirt Kurt, who's Kurt Terry, coming over and talking about, "Hey, Donnie, what you doing today? What you trading today?"
Yeah, because I mean, I just got, I was fascinated with it, how you can make money,
right,
that fast, that way, if you just know what to invest in.
Mm-hmm.
So, I took out a private student loan.
I remember that too.
I was a full ride scholarship, right?
Yeah.
But I took out it was about $15,000, $15,000 student loan, and just played with 10.
Was it worth it?
It was a learning experience. It was worth it. I lost it all, man. I lost it all, even though I was up. And what I learned from it was this, that you got to know when to get out, right? Mm-hmm. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered.
That's what Bane say. You got to know when to put all this time.
Right, but I wouldn't change it, man. Like I'm over here trading with hundreds of thousands of shares of a penny stock that's, cents. Every cent it goes up, I'm looking at the thing like, man, that's $900 profit, $1,000 profit. But you never make money you never make or lose money until you sell it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But now it was a great experience, man. Yeah.
No, man, that's amazing. I want to hit on your book, Athlete Alchemy. I mean, this is something that I saw you came out with a couple of years ago, and the transformation of the complete athlete, and it's forwarded by Jim Tressa. I mean, how was that process? Dealing with Tressa, obviously helping you kind of, obviously, I wouldn't say create it, but kind of forwarding this book and, and kind of, taking all your experiences and putting it into this.
Absolutely. Athletic Alchemy, transformation of the complete athlete, in my opinion, is a blueprint for student athlete success.
Right.
And major shout out to Coach Tressel. I called him. He answered on the first ring, and I was very short. Coach, I know you're extremely busy. I'd be so grateful if you would just write the foreword to my book. Mm-hmm. I wrote it. He was like, send it to me. I'm proud of you. The answer is yes. I'll get it back to you within 10 days. I emailed him the book. In 7 days, he had the foreword back. Right. And for me, I didn't want to take all the experiences that I went through and not share it with anybody who wants to know to get wisdom from me.
Right.
Right. So I'm proud of the book. I know it's impacted some lives. It's a quick read. It's an easy read. And, we talk about tackling transition, tackling tears, tackling with teammates. This whole stop technique is just, using your platform. And I encourage every person, man, especially athletes, to find healthy outlets.
Right.
Find healthy outlets, man.
You talked about a little bit ago with depression. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people understand. When you're an athlete, and I don't care what level it is, when you are anticipating, not even an athlete, but when you're anticipating things to go a certain way and they may be abruptly changed, I mean, depression is one of those things that kind of set in for a lot of people. Other people deal with it different ways. Sometimes it's worse in other individuals than others, and some individuals than others. What was that like for you, and how, obviously you talked about your mom helping you get out of it, but what other avenues did you have to kind of release some of that depression? Because we all deal with it as athletes. I've dealt with it.
Everyone watching.
A number of
depression, anxiety.
Exactly. I mean, those things are real for real people.
Yeah, for me, Boom, you know me, man. I was a late bloomer in a lot of areas, man. I was the one that would stay in the dorm and not go out. You know what I'm saying? But I started experiencing more of that college life when I was 21. And the depression, it hit for me. And this is not a woe is me story, so I'm not expecting anyone to feel bad for me. But this is what I went through.
Right.
This is my truth. So after my third season of injury, and after, again, a third season injury, right?
It's tough.
Hey, I commend you for that because it's a lot of guys who they go from one injury and they just shut it down. You went through 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's one thing I can also say about you, Donnie. I always knew, regardless if it was going to work out on the field, whatever it was going to be in life, I know how you worked, and I knew how you always figured out the way. You know what I'm saying? You never quit. So I just had to say that.
No,
just
I
commend you
appreciate
for
that, Boom.
man. Yeah, straight up.
So after that third season-ending injury, thank you. Got out of a serious relationship, my first serious relationship.
Right.
So dealing with that, I come home, right? Right after that relationship had ended, and we were going to the Rose Bowl, so we had like a week off, and I'm home. I reconnect with the girl I used to date in high school, and long story short, man, the next morning I wake up 2 days before Christmas, and her ex-boyfriend, walks in the house. And I'm sitting in the chair just like this, how we are.
Right.
And we make eye contact. He goes in the kitchen. They start arguing. He goes up the stairs. He's like, tell that he's got 2 effing minutes to get out this house. Right?
Uh-huh.
So I look at her. I'm like, I just knew. I was like, does he got a gun? and she was like, no. And I was like, does he got a gun? And she's like, just leave now. So he comes down the stairs. And all I see, I'm not a big gun person, but silver, I think, revolver. And I'm sitting down just like this, man. And next thing I know, he comes down the stairs, and he's got me at gunpoint just like this.
Ooh.
Gun to my head. I feel it, tapping it. Like, what's up, man? Yeah, just all that talk.
Right.
You just going off on me, right? And the only thing I can think of when the gun's to my head, I thought, he does not want to kill me. He doesn't want to, right? I looked at the door was cracked. I put my hands up real slow. I didn't make eye contact with him. That's a form of disrespect. And I told him, I said, hey, bro, you win. I said, you got this. It's all you. She's going off. And finally, I just got the courage, man. God was with me, obviously.
Right.
When that gun was to my head, I got the courage just to get up just like this, man. Really, really slow. Hands up just like this. And the dude just walked me to the door. With a gun in your head. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
and this
man.
This is all in college. I mean,
This was 2 days before Christmas. I got to catch a plane to Pasadena, California, in the Rose Bowl.
Bowl practice, essentially.
Yeah, I got a plane to catch in like 2 days.
Right.
Wow.
So, call Coach Tressel. He was like, you got to make a police report. And Ben Persons at that time, his dad was the police chief in my hometown. And I didn't really even want to have to do that, but I couldn't get a hold. It figured I'm not a street dude, man.
Right.
You don't have to live by no street code if you're not in that life.
Right.
So, man, I know the story's kind of going long, but I ended up making a police report, and come to find out, the detective said, we talked to the girl. She said she doesn't know anything about it, has never heard of that name.
Wow.
So I'm just, right. So now I'm jittery.
Right.
Like, is this over? What's going to happen? So then I go out to Pasadena, right, and I suffer the worst hit of my life. I got a concussion so bad I was throwing up on the bus, right? Throwing up on the bus immediately after the game. I got rocked so hard.
Wow.
And so dealing with the relationship ending, being held at gunpoint, not knowing what's going to happen from that, the concussion, that's what really started to do it, man. And later on, I remember there was some of the athletic trainers. They told my dad, they were like, man, we should have been had Donnie seen a team psychiatrist, Leif Smith at that time.
That's a lot to go through.
And I say that story, right, again, not woe is me, I'm just keeping it real. If anyone out there is going through a challenging time at all, and for those athletes now, there's, what's that word or what's that term where if I tell you something you can't tell somebody else, it's confidential.
Yep.
Yeah.
They keep that confidential. So go talk.
This is my first time hearing this story. Obviously, we were teammates at one point in time.
I don't think I ever heard the story.
And, I mean,
Yeah.
That's something that's so deep. And people don't realize when an individual goes to Ohio State or goes to whatever big school, people think it's all, glitz and glam, and they don't understand the backstory and everything that goes on when you're not at the athletic facility.
No, they don't understand. And the thing is, what happens to the next Donnie?
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. What happened to me was I started doing some things a little bit out of character because I'm not you don't know how to release those emotions healthily, in a healthy way. And man, you can start drinking too much. You can start drinking by yourself. You can start doing X, Y, Z, just reckless behavior that's not you. And if you're not careful, if you don't check it, it can become you. And luckily, it didn't become me, but I had to snap out of some phases really quick. And I got out of that depression strictly through family.
Right.
Family support, period. Because something like that, you can't get out alone. Because you start having thoughts, Bean. I mean, if you got held up at gunpoint, right? You from Akron, it's a whole different era, right?
I'm going to get my gun the next day, and I'm like, all right, where this motherfucker at? And we're gonna go. I'm trying to figure out something.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. That's just where my mentality would have been at that point in time, and then obviously that I would have been carrying myself completely different how I normally do.
And I'm not saying that wasn't my mentality,
right?
And I'm not saying it was, but
you change.
Man, that fucked me up for a little bit, man. It really did for a while. Go ahead, Boom.
No, our stories are different, but the same thing happened when you said messed you up. Same thing happened to me. I was robbed at gunpoint, 16 years old. So I know like the whole mental side of it, man. It's tough, man. It's tough. So I'm glad that you speaking out about it because, I probably should speak out more about my situation that I had. Because people need to hear, like, if you need help, go get your help.
Yeah.
If you need to see a psychiatrist, see a psychiatrist. Do whatever it is that you need to do to get help because it's people out here dealing with some serious issues out here that are scared just to speak up. Right. So I'm glad that you opening up about this.
Thank you. And what I'll say about that is that situation is, in my mind, is resolved because, you never forget, but forgiveness is key. Forgiveness is key, man. There's times I've only had really 2 people do me wrong in my life. Really. I don't have no enemies.
Right.
That guy and one other guy, and that was minor, the second thing. If I were to continue to think about what had happened to me, it would eat me up. It'd make me do something out of character and do something I know I shouldn't do. And I wouldn't be me. There would be no OH2O. There would be no motivational speaking and writing books because I would not be me. So I had to forgive, not forget, and just be even more wise for future situations. So that's what I want to encourage people to do too. Forgive. God saved me, man. Because if he
could be dead and gone right now.
Could be. Breaking news, Rose Bowl. This tragedy happened. Right? But thank God it didn't. I'm alive and it's all good.
If you could go back and you could tell your younger self something, the younger Donnie Ray Evege, the athlete, and you could tell yourself something and change something from your experience at Ohio State or during your time at Ohio State, is there anything that you would do different?
Is there anything that I would do different? The whole cliche answer is that, I wouldn't do anything different because it may be who I am now. I would have did something different on the whole deep talk like we're talking about now. I would have told myself, don't go the unhealthy route during that phase when it was real tough. I would have had healthier outlets.
Right.
On the football side of things, I would have played the perception game more. The perception game. I was putting in work. We all put in work. But sometimes you have to be at the weight room at the right time so the right coach sees you. Right? You got to be – I could watch all the same film that this next guy watches.
But you got to do a little bit more.
But the defensive coordinator doesn't happen to stop by and see me, but he sees him. He's been there. That whole thing.
Right.
I would have put in – I would have lived at the Woody Hayes longer.
What was your experience like? Was it Taver Johnson was your coach?
Yep, Taver Johnson was my cornerback.
What was your experience like with Taver Johnson and Jim Haycock? Haycock is a guy we talked about on this podcast.
He told me about the bad dreams you guys had about. I listen to every podcast y'all do.
Yeah, so what was your experience like with those guys at Ohio State, being your coach? Taver obviously just left Ohio State this past year, and Jim Haycock was a phenomenal defensive coordinator. But he was one of those stern coaches that made you shake in your boots.
Yeah. Coach Haycock and I, we never had no issues. It was all good. I could always tell he was intense.
Right.
Those D linemen were going through it. But for me, Coach Tabor Johnson, he's very, very intense. Loves the game. Very animated. Right. Very animated. But he cares about his players.
Right.
Yeah, he cares about his players, and I had a really good experience with Tabor. There was times, just like with any position coach, you're not always going to see eye to eye. You may feel like you should be playing more, or this should happen, that should happen, but you just control what you can control. And I learned a lot from Coach Johnson, and I'm thankful that he was my coach.
Yeah, Tabor's an energetic guy, man. I remember, I wasn't a special teams guy, but I remember, seeing those special teams meeting and him coming there hooting and hollering, we're going to do this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And, he was definitely a guy that exuded a lot of energy. Man, talk about your relationship with Jim Tressel. Obviously, Tress is an individual that, in my mind, whether you're at the top of the totem pole or you're at the bottom, he's going to be the same with a lot of individuals off the football field. And talk about your relationship with him and you being able to just hit him up and say, hey, Coach, I need you for this, that, and the third, and he does it immediately.
Exactly. I mean, to your point, he answered on the first ring. I don't even know if it rang. It was just, he's like, he's a Donnie Evege.
Donnie Evege. That's him.
Like, yeah, so, and for him to put his name on my book, that shows that obviously I didn't spend 10 years in the NFL.
Right.
I didn't go to the NFL, but he still treats me as if I was that superstar because he cares more about his guys after football than even what he did during the recruiting process, in my opinion. I flew back from New York last year in February. I got back in March from business and had a meeting with him. Right, that was the first time that we had met in some years in person.
Right,
and we met just to reconnect. But I wanted to tell him about what I was about to do with OH2O. Right, I didn't launch it until September. But Coach, this is what I got going on. I got the official trademark. This is how I'm launching it. What do you think? And he was all ears, super attentive, gave me advice, told me, Donnie, you are going to be very successful, not only in the state of Ohio, especially Columbus, but he went straight into how are you going to make this go national?
Right.
How are you going to make this be the next thing?
Next level.
Yeah, so when I say that, because he didn't have to give me that time.
Yeah.
That in-depth thing on how to make my business with life after football be successful. But him giving me not only that confidence, that assurance, and strategic action plan saying whatever I can do, I got you too. We're going to make OH2O a success in Youngstown, Columbus. Yeah. That's the relationship I have with him. I know if I need to call him, he'll answer. When I text him, he texts me back. Right. And I don't know if other coaches and other programs do that for guys who didn't make it, but I can speak on behalf of Coach Jim Tressel. That's a wonderful man. That's a wonderful human being.
Oh, no question about it. I mean, I can speak for other guys because I've got friends that went to those other universities. It ain't the same. It's not the same. It's almost like a what have you done for me lately, and how much notoriety can I get from my arm hanging around you in the picture. And, you see those situations and you kind of, you're disgusted at it because obviously,
we know how we were treated.
Exactly. And we were individuals who went to university and put in blood, sweat, and tears with the coaches. Hit on TP. TP was your boy. Yeah. Terrell Pryor was your boy. Boom. Posey, man, give me some stories of these individuals and some things that, when we do release or when you do release this footage that you have that we may potentially see on that footage with those guys, be it personality, be it, hanging out. I mean,
you see a lot of smiles. You see a lot of smiles, a lot of laughs. A lot of dancing.
Right.
Like,
it was some dance. We had some dancers.
Yeah, because I would always have the camera after practice. And so whoever the team DJ was at that time with the system, everyone would just be cutting up and having a good time. But yeah, TP, we haven't talked in a while. And I know his freshman year, we didn't, just like a lot of guys, we didn't really connect.
Right.
But he made like a complete 180, man. He just, like he told me, he'd tell people, I was kind of a jerk my freshman year.
Right.
That's what he would say. And he changed. That's why it's unfortunate. I think that some of the things that came out later, he had already changed, in my opinion. But we got super close, and man, that was my best friend. That was definitely my best friend, and super proud of what he's got going on. We're still playing in the NFL, and you got me just going down memory lane. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We used to just always record, man.
Now, with that being your best friend, hitting on TP a little bit more, I mean, how difficult was it to not only see a teammate but a friend, a genuine friend, kind of ostracized from a university based off of decisions that a teenager made, essentially. I mean, you know, a teenager is going to do stupid things. You're still a kid at that point in time.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be 20 years old, but I mean, you don't really know who you are until obviously you're about 25 and up at that point, in my opinion. I mean, so I mean,
right.
How was it at that time?
It was
being
really
around
hard.
him and watching, you know, him at what 18, 19 years old, feeling like, you know, the only university, his place of comfort, had turned his back on him.
You want to say something?
I don't know. I was
No,
just
I
gonna say,
want you to dive in on it.
you was here for everything, to see everything that we went through, and so you can kind of give people, you know, people could hear from our side, but from a person that's seen it and was in the, you know, was around it, you know, if they hear from you, you know, they be like, oh, maybe this really is what they, how hard it was, how tough it was, you know.
I used to be at Terrell's house during like the thick of the madness, right? When the news broke, the stories, and you had guys that you see on TV right now, Columbus news anchors in the squad knocking on their door, trying to get a quote, what's going on,
Right?
Like nonstop. You know, rest in peace, his mentor and my friend, you know, Teddy.
Yeah.
You know, he would be in Columbus during that time just to console him because it was just madness. It was madness, man. But I felt terrible for you, Boom, and TP and Mike and everybody, because you see people who now love you in 2019 at that time just were just hating on you, and they didn't know what was going on.
Right.
Totally. But yeah, Bean, I mean, just, I don't want to use the word guilty, right? But it's that old saying, guilty by association. You know, I got investigated by the NCAA just because of my relationship, you know, with him.
Right.
They said, Donnie, did you sell any rings? Do you have any free cars? You got this, you got that. Free. And the answer is no. But once it got to the meat and potatoes of why I'm in this room getting interviewed, it's all about him.
Right.
When you guys were in Miami, you know, spring break, were you guys getting free bottle service from LeBron? We know you were with LeBron and D Wade at Club Live, and they just really went in, and not all of it was even true.
Right.
But they tried, you know, the NCAA at that time was just trying to get as much information on Terrell as possible, you know, through me and teammates and whoever else.
We obviously at some point are definitely going to get Terrell on the show. But I mean, I was always curious to know how that was for him, because obviously Boom, DeVere, and Mike Adams and Solly were all involved at that time as well. But, you know, Terrell was a rock star. I mean, he was a rock star, not just in Columbus, but, you know, from the moment he stepped on the campus, you know, him kind of delaying his signing day. So that made him get more notoriety. And then obviously him coming here and doing a phenomenal job at the quarterback position, winning some incredible games and, you know, breaking records. I mean, the light's on you. So, and you're a guy that obviously is right there with him the entire step of the way, because you guys were best friends. You guys did have that close relationship. That's why I'm asking you those questions.
Yeah, I just felt like I said, he had already made he made so many positive changes, right? Because when I was hanging out with him, he was just a different guy.
Right.
And
you probably helped him, though, for real, Donnie. You know, you just being that type of guy that you are, that you were and that you are now. I mean, it probably changed him. You know, it changed his mindset, you know. Because you always, one thing about Donnie, I can say, you always been a positive person. You know what I'm saying? You're always going to encourage. You're always going to be that person to uplift a person if they're having a bad day. So I'm sure you probably helped them out some way, somehow, some shape or form.
I appreciate that. And, you know, he was there for me, too, during my injuries when I was down and out, you know, giving me rides to therapy and et cetera, man. Like, you rely on a lot of people when
it's the little things, right?
It's the little things.
Yeah.
But no, TP, he's a unique guy. In my opinion, he's a great guy.
Right.
He's a great guy, and that was just a crazy time, man. crazy era.
The things that individuals go through at such a young age when you're kind of in the fishbowl. I mean, it can be scary at times, and obviously we all watched it, and obviously you guys lived it. So that was a little bit difficult to actually see. Look like, damn, are they doing this to these young kids? But what I do want to hit on is, obviously you watch Ohio State now.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the coaching change. You watch this football team. What's your take on the program now and the state that we're in terms of, we're winning a bunch of games. We won a national championship every single year. It's pretty much no different in an aspect that we're always going to be in the top 5 of the country. But now it's amplified because obviously we did have Urban Meyer, and he did go on to do so many great things here, but he has this storied resume at other universities. Where do you think this university is going under Ryan Day? Do you think we'll continue to ascend in the right direction?
We're going up, man. I think we're going up. And I met Ryan, right? And the time that I spent with him, I got great vibes.
Right.
I got great vibes, and I'm really close with LaChristian Smith, aka Blue. I think he's going to be a top receiver coming up. He's going to get some rotation for sure with the receivers that are leaving to the NFL and graduating. And Robert Landers, he decided to come back. He's a 5th-year senior. Both are from Wayne. Robert Landers, a.k.a. BB, he's going to be a captain this coming up season. I'm number 67 on the D-line. And they both told me, nothing but great things about Ryan.
Right.
And we all know how important it is to be comfortable with the head coach. Who do you want to fight for? And we know guys fought hard for Urban because, like your guys' podcast before, he will get you motivated before a game. Ryan, I think, can do the same thing, and he's a players coach. Not too dramatically a players coach where he's going to get walked on. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is they respect him, they like him, and even what I've heard from some of the current players during the 2-a-day practices this past season when he was the coach. Man, they were having, even in the midst of the drama and that stress, they were having fun.
And you could tell
they were having fun.
That's important. I mean, if you got somebody you can have fun with and somebody that you respect, and not to say that every coach has to be a friend, because obviously we know that is the case. But if you got somebody that you're cool with and that you respect, that you can go to and talk to, you're going to go 10 times harder.
10 times harder.
You're going to be fresh. You're going to be released. You just feel like you could just go.
Right.
But you can honestly tell, last season when Ryan Day was the head coach, the interim head coach for the first 3 games, you could tell the team was just so just relaxed. They having fun out there, just doing it. So I agree with you, Donnie. I think we doing nothing, but it's gonna keep elevating.
The players get to play loose. They get to play free. He's 39 years old.
Young.
He's a young coach, and look what the LA Rams coach, younger is
That's
in
the vibe
now,
right
in
now.
30s.
Yep.
And he's an offensive guru. He's an offensive guru.
We saw that transformation last year with Dwayne Haskins. Dude was dropping back, just slinging it. Right. Over 5,000 yards, I believe, and 40, 50 touchdowns.
50,
incredible. 200 yards rushing. I want to play a little clip, and I want to get your thoughts on this individual when he says this. I mean, Stephen A. Smith. Can we play this clip, please?
Haskins is no joke as well. I know that he's bigger. He can make all the requisite throws on the NFL level. He played for a big-time program at Ohio State. I just find him to be more of a runner than a thrower. I could be wrong about that, but that's what I find. I look at Colin Murray.
How asinine is a statement like that? And I mean, what do you think when you hear something like that? I mean, from a guy like Stephen A. Smith, who is, everybody
one of the
knows
top,
it. One of the top.
Media. He usually knows his stuff.
No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that because a lot of times he says a lot of bullshit.
He does, but at times. All right, I'm just leaving it alone.
So give me your take on that.
Can people on iTunes leave comments?
Yeah, absolutely.
Give it a 5-star review. Leave a comment on YouTube. Leave a comment on what you think. Stephen A. Smith with saying that he's a runner, not a passer. I want to read every comment. But he hasn't. Obviously, in my opinion, he hasn't watched film.
Right.
He hasn't watched the game film.
But he doubled down on it, and then he goes and says, "I'm sorry to cut you off," but he goes and says, "You know what? That's just my eye test. That's my eye. That's what I see. I think he's." How in the hell can you say that when somebody only ran for 200 yards?
Right. It doesn't make sense. I don't have an answer for why he said that. Haskins is an amazing passer.
Right.
Right. Heisman candidate, in my opinion, should have won.
Yeah.
Right. So the stats he had this year, how he led this team with his arm.
Right.
First year starter.
first-year starter. When he goes to the NFL, right, he's going to be throwing that football, right? He's one of the first quarterbacks from Ohio State to kind of be in the first round in a while.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, I don't.
We've only had one other one.
Hey,
That was
Donnie.
Art Leaster.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead, Boom.
Since we talk about Haskins,
Yeah.
is he top 2 quarterbacks
I say so. Yeah.
Top 2 quarterbacks what? What do you mean?
at Ohio State history?
I mean, he's the best pure passing quarterback we've ever seen at Ohio State, in my opinion. You can give yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you just watch. I mean, cut on the
Yeah,
film
no,
and
no,
watch.
no.
I mean, compare him to anybody that you want to compare
I
him to.
agree. I just like to. I just like to hear.
Yeah,
other
no,
guys'
amazing,
opinions.
amazing quarterbacks. We can go down the list,
Right.
right? There are some great quarterbacks.
But my thing is, he did this in 1 year.
So what's your answer to that? Is he top 2?
See, absolutely, bro. 1 year as being a starter, and you throw for over 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns, bro. It ain't too many guys that could do that. That's why I think he should be the first quarterback taken in the draft, because you get some of this talk about he doesn't have the experience. The experience, he just played how many big games?
Which adds to the point more. Stephen A. Smith is not thinking
oh.
correctly with that soundbite that we just did.
Man, Stephen A.
He was tripping.
Tripping.
And to me, honestly, and this is probably not going to be a popular opinion, but I don't care about that. I mean, it goes, in my mind, Stephen A. is like, bro, this is what's been happening to a lot of black quarterbacks in general. Because you're black, you're automatically thought of, he's a runner. And you say something as stupid as that when you got a guy that clearly passes the ball just as – throw out the numbers. Just watch the dude drop back and throw the football.
Hey, and no knock on Haskins running, but if you ever seen that man run, he's not a runner at all.
Use that arm, baby. Use that arm.
Like, hey, just go down, bro, because you about to get hurt just trying to run.
Right. Now, but in my personal opinion, like a lot of others, he's going to have a phenomenal career.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about New York Giants, right? That's what we're thinking.
That's what I would love to see. I mean, when you
I
look
even
at the
seen some saying that Arizona was trying to trade up for the first.
I can't. They got Josh Rosen there. They just drafted him in the first round.
I'm just saying what I've been hearing. I mean,
Right.
obviously the Giants is obviously the big talk, and they would be crazy if they took Murray over Haskins. That'd be just dumb. You know what I'm saying? Because first off, I think Murray is crazy for even coming back to play football. That's just my opinion.
Didn't Deion Sanders say the same thing? I think he did. Deion Sanders was like saying, "Go play baseball, young man."
Yeah. Devon Torrance.
Yep.
Freshman year, we said, Devon, I know you love this. Man, go play that baseball. That's guaranteed money, man. We talking about guaranteed money.
Right, and he's still playing right now, staying in shape and has had a baseball career up until, 29, 30 years old.
Yeah.
But to Kyler Murray's situation, one, you can look at it a couple of different ways.
Can he go back, though?
He can always go back and play baseball, but you can look at it from the perspective of securing guaranteed money right now. If he is the number one top 5 pick, he's gotten $4.5 million guaranteed from the Oakland A's right now. He's going to supersede that with football right now with him being a top 5 draft pick. That's going to be in the likes of, $20 to $30 million guaranteed, somewhere in that range from 1 to 5. But and then you can look at it from the perspective of, okay, let's say he plays baseball. You know how hard it is to make it to the major leagues? Yeah, I mean, he's drafted in the first round. He got this $4.5 million guaranteed, but it's hard as hell to get caught up. He's going to be starting. He ain't going to be starting in the majors. He ain't going to start opening day, for the Oakland A's. That won't be the case. He's going to have to go through the farm system regardless, and you see that time and time again with guys.
But then again, we don't know if he's going to be good in the NFL.
I think he would be.
I mean, from what he has done in college, you expect him to go to the next level and be good. But we've seen some guys who killed it in college and then go to the pros. And
I mean, that's in any sport, though. I mean,
true.
When you're doing it solely off of potential, the dude has the potential to be damn good, especially when you're watching offenses change and the dynamic change in terms of
mobile quarterbacks,
and how guys are viewed this day and age, opposed to just even 5-6 years ago. It wouldn't have been thought of for him to be a 5'8", 5'9" quarterback. being drafted in the top 5. I mean, they wouldn't even entertain that thought. But now you're seeing these offenses become much more creative and dynamic with their decision-making, their play calling, and the guys that they have at the helm. I mean, yeah, you can see him going into a situation and being very successful if they indeed tailor their system around an individual like that.
Speaking, since we're on the NFL, I like to bring up the Kareem Hunt of the Browns signing him. What's your thoughts on, do you think that's a good decision for the Browns? Do you think I want to hear your thoughts too, Beans, because it's a big deal. We seen a guy who, had some troubles, got released by the Chiefs, who's a damn good running back.
Had a domestic violence situation if you didn't pay much attention to it.
Yeah, I think just like we were talking about earlier in the show, right? Guys, women, athletes, student athletes, professional athletes, people need to take care of themselves first, right? It's the organizations. I wouldn't even say an opportunity. It's they need to make sure guys get the right help. And if he's already shown once, twice, however many times that he's crying for help, man.
Yeah.
Like, they need to take care of that first. Now, to answer your question about the Browns, I'm not at liberty to say is that good or bad. Everyone does things for different reasons when it comes to business, right? But I think it goes to show you that they can – I don't know, Bean, I'm going to let you talk about that.
Yeah, man, I think when you look at it and you break it all the way down, we knew he was going to get an opportunity at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, he's too talented.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Greg Hardy get multiple opportunities after his situation, which was much worse.
Yeah.
Much worse. We got pictures of him, with all these guns, the girls all bruised up. And this is a situation to where if you're Cleveland, you're saying, you know what, let me buy low. I don't got to pay this guy a lot of money. And you've done your due diligence and you understood that, you know what, he made a bonehead decision maybe once or twice. But do we want to derail his entire career for this? When we do see doctors, lawyers,
head coaches,
people in other professions,
presidents,
get in situations that are not ideal and, maybe get arrested for a DUI, maybe get arrested for domestic violence. Doesn't make it right.
Right.
But they're getting an opportunity to continue making a living doing a career in which they dreamed of doing.
Yeah.
So do you take that away from him and do you treat him differently than you would a doctor or a lawyer?
You bring up a great point, Bean.
So, I mean, I think that's what you have to ask yourself. And then you have to ask yourself, okay, how many chances has he had? This is one slip-up.
Yeah.
If it continues to happen and you continue to see a pattern, then, I mean, get his ass out of the league, I mean, in that case. But did the Browns make the right decision from a business standpoint? I think they did because I think he's a hell of a football player. Now, if he goes and he isn't a changed person from this situation, then no, you didn't make a right decision. But you're only going to know that by going through it.
Right. I mean, in my opinion, I think it was a great idea to pick him up because, like you said, he is a great athlete. I think everybody deserves a second chance, which is I don't commend.
We live in America.
Condone, men putting their hands on women or nothing like that.
No question.
I don't want our listeners to take it that way.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But I think since the Browns have signed him, I think they should, just make sure that he's doing all the right things. Make sure he's getting his help. And obviously, I'm sure they did their background check before they signed him.
And it wasn't a Ray Rice situation.
No,
if I'm watching him just cold,
yeah.
Hell no, man. I ain't rocking with that.
Right.
I can't get down like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, he did go a little bit too far in what he did, but it wasn't a Ray Rice situation, too. That's what makes me look at it completely different.
The first thing he got to do, he got to change his circle. Because his boys out there with him.
No. They tried to stop him.
They tried.
You watch the video. They tried on countless occasions. People can only hold you back so much.
This is true. So
I wouldn't say that. They tried to stop him on a couple of different occasions, man.
Right.
Donnie, getting back into and changing topics again. I mean, I like to switch and be all over the place, man. Give me some advice that is not only in your book, but advice that you would have for young athletes, and not only making a transition, but going from high school to college, and choosing a university and choosing a major, and then making a transition for life after football.
Right. I'm big on acronyms. Right. So when it comes to high school to college to the next level, you can never get time back. Right. Time is everything. And from my mind, time stands for think intelligently, maximize efficiently.
Right. What Donnie, you got it, bro.
Now you got to text me. You got to text me stop, and you got to text me time, man.
Donnie, you
say
got
that
it,
one more
boy.
time. One more time,
boy.
Yeah. So, time is our most valuable asset. We cannot get it back.
Right.
So, no matter your age, but to your question, like what would I tell a younger person, going through what we've already gone through, right? Time. Think intelligently, maximize efficiently. We're all smart.
Right.
That young man listening to this right now, that young lady listening to this right now, she's smart. He's smart. You got to think intelligently, right? And then maximize efficiently. You run a podcast. You have a family. Everyone in this room, man, there's about 8 of us in here. Everyone's got a busy schedule. But if you maximize, like Coach Tressel used to have us do with our goal sheets, right? Yeah. 3 main goals in personal, spiritual, all that. Just take time to pre-plan on a Sunday.
Right.
If you in that gym and you meal prep and you got all your meals laid out, well, what about your goals? Right? You got to have goals. You got to have a strategic action plan. And I call it the REP program, REP. Just like you got to rep it out on the bench press, you got to rep out your life. And that stands for reverse engineer planning.
Reverse engineer. Man,
yeah,
I love the acronym thing.
Write
man.
another book, Donnie.
Yeah, I will, and that's in there. That's in that book, and more coming. But if you train intently, or I got other acronyms for time and whatnot. But the main thing is think intelligently, maximize efficiently, and rep out your life, man. Go hard for your goals. Go hard, like what you have working in your life right now, in your mind right now, is your legacy, man.
Right.
And I tell young people, you may not know how to get there. You may not know how to get that full ride scholarship right now if I'm talking to a 6th grader. You may not know how to start your own business as a senior in high school.
Right.
But it's our job as mentors, as people that's been here before, right, to encourage you to think big. What's your dream? Right? What's your dream? What would you want to do? No limits. And once you got that idea, perfect. Now it's our job, or get the right people to get you in alignment to help you reverse engineer, right, backwards, all the steps that it's going to take. And all I need you to do is just take a small step right now, today, in that direction. That's it. I'm not going to have the #1 bottled water company overnight. I've only been in business for 6 months.
Right.
But what's it going to look like 10 years from now, right? But what can I do today? I can knock on some doors.
You got to start somewhere.
Right? All that. So whatever your goal is, know what you want to do, create an action plan to do it, and then just take a baby step in that direction.
Hey, people listening, he said it right here. Take steps. Take steps, man. Have a plan of action and know how you're going to get there. That's the most important thing, man, is knowing the direction that you're going in and knowing the steps that you need to take in order to go out and achieve what it is you want.
And know who you are and know whose you are. That's one thing that really helped me in my life when my parents would remind me, man. Like someone might be doubting themselves right now.
But talk about how hard that is for a college kid to, find out who they are. I mean, because a lot of times people don't find out who they are and what direction they want to go in until it's a little bit later. And we've had teammates that we've talked about before, not by name, but we see them in situations to where they're 30-plus years old and they're still trying to figure out, okay, where do I want to be? Their mentality and their identity becomes so much of football that they don't know how to, do anything else or transform that mental state to a career.
I think part of it is your podcast and maybe another podcast that you start, or the book that you write, or the books that you both write, the motivational speaking tour that you guys go on around the Midwest. Right. I think it's that. And I say the podcast because you're right. Guys do have to go through phases, and find their way and hit rock bottom sometimes to make that change. But I didn't have the Beanie and Boom podcast in 2007 because we were living that life in the locker room.
If we could have had it, though.
Right. I could text this. Anyone could text this. This is free on iTunes and YouTube. I think all the players on Ohio State's football team should listen to this.
Right.
In other programs and other sports, because we're dropping jewels. And you guys have created a platform where instead of waiting until you're, say 30, 40 years old to learn some lessons, you can get that game and that knowledge now. Now it's up to you to apply it.
Right.
You can't make somebody do anything. But, at least you can serve them, with the knowledge, period.
And I've always been one of those people that have learned by hearing other people, by you telling me your experience, I'm learning and I'm going to apply that to me. Because I've seen what he did to become successful, or I've seen what he did to become unsuccessful. So, that is, you make a great point, man. We talk about a lot of different things on the show. And I told people, a listeners, this one was going to be different because we were going to hit on an array of different things. And it wasn't just going to be a sole sports talk podcast. And I appreciate that, man.
And it's funny you say soul, right? You just said soul.
Right.
For me, I want to do a soul purpose speaking tour, and I'd love for you guys to be a part of it.
Oh, man.
What soul stands for is serving others with unconditional love and purpose.
Drop the mic.
Now, you got to serve others with unconditional love and purpose.
Right.
You got to, what you're doing, Bean,
Mm-hmm.
you got to provide uplifting resources while promoting one's self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The depression, suicide rates, the stuff that is plaguing middle schoolers, elementary school people, right? It's our job to provide uplifting resources.
That's something that, I mean, we talked about a little bit before with the mental health aspect, but those things are real. I see a psychiatrist on a regular because those things are real. And, I mean, I think from a perspective of just getting better and just learning how to maybe maneuver in certain situations. I mean, there are resources out there for people to be able to utilize and learn how to, overcome situations and learn how to, make smarter decisions and just have outlets. Somebody to sit there and talk to, man.
Let me ask you this. I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. Don't you feel more fulfilled when you help others?
Oh, no doubt.
Oh, man.
No question.
That's sometimes the best therapy too. Like when I have trusted people that I talk to, right? And we're all moving up in life, man. We learn from our past. It was tough times, but we're doing great things. But I tell people, if you don't know what you want to do, or if you're in a funk and in that depressed state, get out there and volunteer.
Right.
Get out there and go help somebody. Help others, man.
Man, that's
karma.
Right.
What you throw out there will come back.
Oh, certainly.
Maybe not next week, but it will come back. So take action with your life and get out there and help. With whatever you believe in.
No doubt, man. This has definitely been an enlightening conversation.
Hey, Donnie, we're going to have a 2.0, man, because I feel like we still got so much more. I know we got to get out of here because of time, but we got so much more we got to cover, man.
I say, well, we should thank you. And absolutely, I love a 2.0, man. I love what you guys were doing with Pitt and some other guys coming back a couple of different times when schedules match. But I say we get a camera crew and document our lives even more, like, deep. Like, deep. Donnie Evege empowering people. That's my motivational thing with helping others.
I have a crazy life, man. I don't know if I want all that on camera. Not everything.
Select. But, like, you learn from Gary Vaynerchuk, right? I met Gary V.
Right.
He's got his D-Rock, his cameraman, right? I think it would be super dope. Because you remember our last year, our 10-year reunion?
Yeah. Yep.
What did I have? I had that camera and the lapel mic like you got here in studio.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Document every experience possible.
Mm-hmm.
Deep.
Except for me. I can't do that because
man, you know how dope it would be to see you as a father.
Oh, that's amazing. But I got some wild kids, man. My kids say some wild shit.
You know what?
It would really throw you off.
But that's post-production edit.
Exactly.
Document everything. Document it, but it's post-production edit. I'm not going to release all 100, 200 hours of the footage that I got from Ohio State.
I know you got some stuff for your boy over here.
It's not bad, Boom. It's all good. But that's the post-production edit, Boom. Hey, but thank you guys for having me on this podcast. I love the 2.0.
Appreciate it, man. OH2O. It's in stores around Ohio, a lot of the Walmarts. Donnie, where else can we find it at? Is it online store?
Yeah, what I would say, if you want to know what stores have it, go to my website. You got to type in www because it's a different dot. But www.oh2o.life. And please go to my Instagram, OH2OWater, because that's when I'm going to be posting as soon as it hits new Walmarts. And Kroger is right around the corner, and I think in a couple months. We're in 300 locations around the state right now. I think we could easily be, not easily, but I think we'll be in 1,000, possibly going into 2020.
I got to get you with my boy Brian Ferrier, man, with Giant Eagle, man.
I love to
connect you there.
All the chains. And if you are a business owner out there, if you own your own bar or restaurant, Heidelberg Distributing is my distribution partner. So if there's a sales rep that already services you, it'd be easy for you just to request it from Heidelberg. And you can also contact me directly, and my website's DonnieRayEvege.com.
So that's where we can get the book?
You can get the book. If you want it personally signed, you can order it from me at DonnieRayEvege.com, and I'll personalize it or just sign it. If you leave a note with the name, I will. But if you want it tomorrow, I will go to Amazon and type in Athletic Alchemy. transformation of the complete athlete.
Tell them all your social media so they can follow you.
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram is the biggest ones that I'm on, and that's my full name, Donnie Ray Evege. I'm sure in the show notes you can have that spelled correctly. And then for OH2O, Instagram and Facebook, you got to type in OH2O and then water.
And for y'all parents out there, stop buying that Fortnite. Go get this book and make y'all kids read.
Yeah,
because he got some good stuff in here, man. That Fortnite is destroying our kids nowadays.
And
I'm tired of it.
You know, and one thing that I really do, just like you guys do, you know, I love going into K through 12 and organizations and companies and speak. So just message me on my website. It's not hard to get a hold of me. Let me know what you need to hear and the message of your group, and I'll tailor something special for you.
That's a wrap on the show, fellas.
Thank you, Donnie.
Thank you, Boom.
Beautiful episode.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate having you in here, and that's it.
OH2O,
Yes,
offering hydration to others, baby.